Hi לכולם. Oh, we're in English today. Hi everyone. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me. I'm going to open the chat. Okay, good. Hi everyone. I don't know what to do to like wake you up. So it's the middle of the week. We had a holiday. Wake up, say hi in the chat. Come on, we're doing branding. We're happy. We're alive. Something in the chat. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, just give me 1 second. Okay. So thank you so much for joining another Startup Designers webinar. And before I give the stage to Dot, I just want to do a quick intro to Startup Designers if you're not familiar with us. Wow, I've really woken up the chat. Okay. So you're very welcome. If it's your first time or if you've been in multiple other events, it's always happy to see you here. Before we start, I do want to say that this session is being recorded and actually transmitted live into Facebook. So hi, Facebook people. Yeah, I'm just going to make sure that it's actually being recorded. And it's recording. So if you need to stop and go do something, or if you just want to share this very valuable content with friends after the talk, you can find a link to it in our Facebook chat and in our Facebook page, apologize. And I'll also send you a link to the recording through Meetup, if you're following our Meetup page. Oh, hello from Dubai. Okay, that's exciting. So a bit about us. I'm Shir, nice to meet you all. I manage our meetups and events, but other than myself, we have other amazing individuals that help make this community exist and alive. So I want to introduce you to Ina and Michal and Lishai and Ortal and tell you a bit about what each one of them is doing. So Lishai manages our Instagram page. And although our Instagram page is relatively new, we're very excited about it. It's the place where we want to share just inspirational design and motivational quotes and everything that just brings joy to our life and help us start the day or end the day with a smile on our face. So if you wanna follow us, our handle name is Startup Designers. And if you saw amazing quotes today from Dot's presentation, I'm sure she'll be happy if you can tag her and both us. And I think she's going to tell us how important that is in just a while. We also have a newsletter made by Michal. The newsletter is in Hebrew, but good time to learn Hebrew, I would say. If you do read Hebrew, you can find a link to it in our Facebook community. And the newsletter is all about handling FOMO. It's not one of those very long newsletters where we have lots of articles. It's actually very concise, very short, with the purpose of just giving you the little bits of information you want to know to make sure you're up to date with everything new in the design world. Okay, and last but definitely not least, we have our mentorship program. So the mentorship program is led by Ina, and the purpose of it is to really make new connections, currently only in Israel, but we're open to talk about it globally, and to connect junior designers with more senior designers to help designers grow and learn, whether if it's about building their portfolios, going through interviews, or even moving into a managerial position. We're always looking for new mentors. If you believe you have something to give, which I'm sure you do, please go into our website and sign up as a mentor. Our address is www.startupdesigners.co, C-O without the M. Again, it's in Hebrew. If you have inquiries about English or anything like that, you can just DM me in Facebook or through my email. So with that, I'm almost done talking, and the only thing left is to introduce you to Dot. So I want to tell you a bit about Dot. Dot is a social media expert who has been living in Barcelona since 2011. Her social network career officially started at Off Festival, where she was in charge of the online communities. Her goal is to empower creatives to take control of the world so that together they can build a wonderful future. Dot has worked with campaigns for advertising agencies. She led social media teams and started her own startup in graphic design, production, and more. Her clients and collaborators include Wix, Facebook, Off Festival, Sonar, and Motion Grapher. Now we have Dot in Israel, as Alonso said in the chat, and we're very privileged to have her here. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing. And did I not share all this time? Oh my God. Yeah, that's a fail. Okay. Dot, why won't you take it away? We can't hear you.
Hello, hello. All right. How's it going, everyone?
I can.
Can you see my screen? Give me a thumbs up if you can see the screen. Cool. Thanks, Vidhunan. Okay, let's see if this is going to work. Great. Shalom, Kulam. Happy to be here. Thank you so much, Toda Rabah, for having me as a guest. It's actually such an honor because designers are my rock stars. So I'm super excited to be here. I love designers. I'm obsessed with design. I'm not a designer myself. I wish I was. Anyways, let's begin. Today, we're going to talk about personal branding for designers and really how to craft a profitable personal brand. And all the stuff I'm about to teach you is just from my personal experience. I'm not, an expert. I kind of just learned how to do this all on my own. So imagine it's the year 1986. Ronald Reagan is the president of the United States of America, and a little Taiwanese American girl was born in Los Angeles, California. Motorola sold cell phones the size of a brick, and Lachey was born as well. Oh my God, we're like birthday twins. Pound signs. Do you remember these? They were actually used on a landline, and they weren't even hashtags on Instagram yet. If you were living in 1986, would you have been able to tell this little girl, hey, honey, when you grow up, you're going to be able to find your husband just by swiping left, and that you can experience virtual reality and stream 360-degree video immersively from space onto your smartphone. You'll even be able to broadcast live video directly through Zoom, and basically for free. And you, little Dot, you will become the mother of social media dragons and dedicate your life to helping creative people share their message. I was actually an extremely shy and mute child. I practically failed out of school because I did not participate, and I was so shy and had so much social anxiety, I couldn't go ask even to go to the bathroom. I literally peed in the carpet in class during story time. So, as a daughter of an immigrant Taiwanese family growing up in America, you can only be one of three things: a doctor, lawyer, or accountant. Those were actually respectful careers. And let's face it, I was never doing any of that. So, as I was tired of the traditional path, I did the whole college thing. I dropped out. I did not pee in college, Roy. Thank you very much. I was able to keep it for the bathroom, but I did have huge credit card debt. And in America, university is really expensive. And so I did the whole college loan thing and basically, was depressed, lonely, and broke as a joke, you guys. Hashtag broke as a joke. Who's been there? Give me a thumbs up if you've been broke as a joke. So I was 25, decided to just bail and leave my hometown. I left LA, I packed my bags and basically ran away to Spain because I always had this dream that I was going to one day live along the Mediterranean coast and live in this creative capital of Barcelona. Um, Mainly, when you grow up in California, you learn a lot of Spanish history, and so this has always influenced me to find my origins, as an Asian person and go to Spain. So that's exactly what I did. I basically went to Barcelona with 2 suitcases, and I had no idea what I was going to do for work. And I didn't know how to apply for a residency visa. And actually, I didn't even really know how I was going to pay rent. I went there with no job, but I had some idea. I had a dream. And that dream at the point was to survive in Barcelona as a freelance graphic designer with no graphic design experience, okay? But I wanted to be a digital nomad. This was the goal that I had in mind. I didn't know Photoshop. I had no art or design education at all. I just had a dream to live in Barcelona. So I got to Barcelona. I networked my face off. Okay. Like when they say what social networking is, it's basically meeting as many people as you can. And this was really when I had, was really transforming from this super timid, shy person into somebody that needed to survive. And in order to survive, I had to meet as many people as possible so that I could figure out what I was going to do for work. Before you know it, I was social networking so hard. I was talking to people and taking people around Barcelona like Casey Neistat. Yeah, Casey. He just has, 11 million followers on YouTube. When I met him, I think he barely had 1 million. Next thing you know, I'm traveling and hosting people like Chris Do in Barcelona. I'm taking him to Madrid, Milan, and meeting him in Geneva to speak at Digital Design Days, which, by the way, is happening next month. And of course, right when I got to Israel, I was hanging out with Facebook video creators like Nas Daily. I'm showing this stuff to you because it's been a long journey. I made a huge effort to meet my idols like Jessica Walsh, Stefan Segmeister. These were my heroes, right? And really creating my own path has transformed me into the mother of social dragons that I am today. It took me over 7 years to really figure out what I'm about to share with you today, which is literally my secret sauce to personal branding. And for Alonzo and the little dragons that are in here, you know what this secret sauce is all about. It is my personal formula, what I call the Dragons formula. It's 6 core elements that really create a profitable personal brand. And listen, this formula seriously works. Here is just one example of a post that generated me $60,000 the minute that I announced that I moved to Tel Aviv earlier this year. So what the F is a personal brand and how can I create one to generate money? That's why we are here today. So, what a personal brand is, basically, it's your reputation. Okay, it's as simple as that. It's what people say about you when you aren't in the room. By the way, everyone, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat because we will have a Q&A session. And why is, a personal brand so important? How have I been able to leverage my personal brand to any country that I traveled to any place or person or company that I've wanted to work with? Because having a personal brand actually builds your credibility. It strengthens your network so you can, create really meaningful and high level connections, or the type of connections that you're going to need to get these dream gigs or whatever it is that you want to achieve in life. The secret to the personal brand is actually that it's coming from a place of service. It's not necessarily trying to sell you anything. And a personal brand is something that, or someone that is sharing their wealth of knowledge. Actually, as a matter of fact, the more you share, the more your influence grows. And the reason why a personal brand is so important, especially in times of pandemic, it's actually your insurance policy for career stability. So if you invest in your personal brand, you can always be guaranteed someone will connect you to your next job or your next gig. So without further ado, here is what you've all been waiting for. This is the Dragons formula. It's not so secret anymore. I've shared this with over 34,000 of my students on Domestika. I've traveled the world teaching this particular formula, and it's really the backbone of how I've created dozens of brands on Instagram. I've used it to grow my own personal brand and many other agencies and companies and global brands. So here's basically a quick overview of how it works. You combined dialogue, relatability, authenticity, giving value, opinion, and niche so that you can generate the S in the formula, which is all about scaling and sales. So the first element, dialogue, when you're building a personal brand, is actually knowing what you want to be positioned as an expert in. So if you want to become an authority, like I am the best designer at UI or UX, like you need to think about what is the conversation that needs to happen and what you will actually be creating content about. So, because remember, good personal brands are nothing more than good problem solvers. So if you want to make more money, if you want to send bigger budgets, you need to really know what problem you're solving. And the bigger the problem, the bigger the budget. So what I want you to do now is to create a list of 30 pain points. Okay. These are going to be areas that your ideal target client is having trouble with. And then segment them into 3 to 4 categories. This is going to reveal what your content pillars are and really how you're going to position yourself as an expert in the field. Okay, so list 30 pain points and then generate the 30 answers or the 30 solutions to these pain points, and voila, I just gave you 30 Instagram posts ready to go. The next part of the Dragons formula is all about relatability. The more relatable your content, the more likable it is. So what I recommend here is to use storytelling. And you guys are designers, you're much more visual than most people. And you're able to utilize your storytelling and your creative visual design to illustrate a story to make people feel an emotion. When you are thinking about creating a personal brand, what is the feeling you want to elicit from the end user or the audience or your ideal client? What is the feeling? Like the feeling that when my brand that I want to, give people is I want them to feel inspired. I want them to, feel like, they can learn something from me. I want them to feel happy. So, like I try to have them feel welcomed and happy. So these are some of the feelings that I try to evoke through the visuals of my content. What are the feelings that you want to evoke? And how can tell a story and make people feel this way? Because at the end of the day, when people consume your content or they meet you, you have to be consistent and know exactly what's the story and what's the feeling that your brand is trying to convey. The A word, the A in the dragon. And I'm huffing because everyone is talking about this word. And it's like, a broken record. Everyone's talking about, oh, be authentic, stay authentic. But what does this even really mean? And how can you do it? Well, hashtag your vibe attracts your tribe. So the more authentic you are, the more type of people that you will attract that are like you. A recent, one of my friends has been using this terminology, AAF, which is authentic as fuck. The only way to survive on all of these social media channels and, really stick out, really shine, really be unique is to be authentic as fuck. Like you need to wave your freak flag high and be your weird, unique self. Do not hide that, because actually whatever it is that you might be feeling insecure about, or whatever it is that you don't, you're hiding from people, or you're too shy to reveal, or you're uncomfortable with, that's actually what your superpower is. And that's what makes you unique. So we really want to highlight, our authenticity through our uniqueness. And it's really just all about being 100% yourself. Okay. Because when you show up as like the true you, you're going to eliminate all the competition. Okay. And this is why personal branding is so effective, because there's reasons why your personal brand will resonate with, other people, because of your uniqueness, your authenticity. The G in the dragon is all about giving value. There's no dragon that doesn't give, and we must give as much as we can. At least that's what's worked for me, because all influencers know how to leverage the law of reciprocity. And the law of reciprocity is all about giving value. If you want to become an influencer, if you want to gain influence, you have to give value so that you can gain influence and get the attention. And this is what marketers are extremely good at, is how to get the attention, and the masters know how to keep the attention. So what's the shortcut to that is really figuring out the type of value you can consistently deliver. Because remember, your personal brand is not about you. Your personal brand is actually about the problem you're solving in service to other people. So think about your personal brand as a service, okay? How can you actually make people lives better? Or how can you make your clients' life better? What are the different ways? On social media, that might be in terms of content creation. How can you, create content that saves people times, make them happier, save them, make them money, save them money. What are the things you can do in person or on the phone, or, you know, what can you create to actually make your client's life better? This is practicing servitude, and it is so important. The O in the Dragons formula is all about sharing your opinion, and that might, polarize your audience. And this is okay, because again, opinions actually spark controversy. Opinions are what generate dialogue to actually capture attention, to actually bring home your true gung-ho fans. So if you want to create super fans that will follow you for like the end of time, that will support you till death do us part, you need to share your personal opinion. You cannot be a vanilla designer that's like, oh, well, I'm staying through right in the middle so that I don't, so I'm not wrong, or so I don't, get extra attention, because people need to know your train of thought. People need to know your thought process. And that's what gets, you paid as a top of the line designer versus somebody that's just an order taker, right? So you do need to share your opinion. You do need to share your thought process so you can take a seat at the table as a strategist, as somebody that has an opinion and a thought process. And the last part of the Dragons formula is the N for niche. So the niche is simply just knowing exactly who your ideal client is. Who are the people that you want to serve? You need to have this extremely clear, because the niche is a roadmap on how you can actually be successful and become known. Because when you speak to everyone, okay, so if you're trying to serve a whole bunch of different clients from all different niches and categories, it's going to be extremely hard for you. So when you speak to everyone, you speak to no one. And if you target everybody, you're targeting nobody. Same thing in terms of content creation. If you're making content in all sorts of different sectors and pillars, you're never going to be known for the thing you want to be known for. So know very clearly exactly who it is you want to be working with and what it is that you want to be working with them on. So why do I need a personal brand? Well, I teach a lot of this because nowadays, especially what's going on in the pandemic, and now we're in a freaking lockdown, people, don't do business with people they don't know so quickly. People do business by referral quickly. They do business with people they know, they like, and they trust. And they want to do business with human beings, right? So I really believe long are the days of B2B, where we do business with like different logos, right? I think that's in the past. What we're moving forward to, because of all of the social media and the technology we have, we're moving to a P2P type of environment, or what we call H2H, human to human. So the more that you can build your personal brand, the more opportunities and the more business you will actually get. Now you're probably asking, how do I actually figure out what my niche is? What should my content pillars be? How do I actually get started? Pooja Kushwaha says, you nailed it, Dot. Me too, Lachey. Great. Well, it's like I can read your mind, right? That's actually what your ideal client, when you are out there creating content, you need to be able to do mind reading, as in really being empathetic enough to figure out what it is you can actually help your ideal client with. And if you can, if they read your content and they're like, oh my God, this is like, it's like they're in my head, that means you're on the right track. That means you know how to really attract the attention and keep the attention of your ideal client. So back to focusing, on how we can build our personal brands. My recommendation is to focus on your passion. Again, everything I'm teaching here is just from my personal experience, and this is how I was able to build my personal brand, because I just am such an obsessive person and I get really into things. And when I get into it, that's all I live and breathe. And what I live and breathe literally is design. And I live and breathe like Instagram. So this has like become my entire ecosystem and my entire life. What is it that you're passionate about, right? It might, maybe not all of you are designers, but if you guys are designers, like, you're obviously passionate about design, but what else do you love? What is something that you love so much that you don't have to get paid to do it and you would do it anyways? For me, that was literally Instagram. Like, when I first got my first gig getting paid doing Instagram, I was like, holy shit, you can get paid to do Instagram? Like, I didn't even know. And that's like the bonus you get by just doing stuff that you're passionate about. The second thing you want to think about is, what are you really good at? So all of you here, you're probably really good at one discipline of design, or you're really good at, specific applications like Photoshop or Figma or Illustrator. Like, there's tools that you're particularly better at than others. I know for me, I can't use Illustrator for shit. So, I'm like a Keynote person. And then think about, what problem can you uniquely solve? Okay, so what is a problem that you're really good at solving? Or write a list of problems that people have, or problems that your ideal client has, and see which is something that you're good at solving. And then look at what you can actually get paid to do. Okay, and can you do it for the rest of your life? These are like the 4 questions I would think about when you're starting to build your personal brand, and put your face out there, and put your opinions out there on social media. And it will give you enough room to, you don't have to be married to it. You can change it. It grows. Like, I've been on social media for 15 years. I've definitely changed as a person. Well, I hope. So these questions are meant to give you a starting point. And this is, the famous ikigai kind of, what do you call this, infographic, or this is like the Venn diagram of how you can design your personal brand using, the Japanese philosophy of ikigai. And ikigai basically means life's purpose, or, what your mission and purpose in life is, in Japanese. And what ikigai says is, you combine, your passion with your mission and whatever your vocation and your profession is. And this is kind of where you could really live a purposeful life. So this is why I suggest to answer those questions, and you can really begin to get a feeling on what kind of content and what kind of personal brand you want to develop. So once you kind of develop your ikigai, you figure that out, the next thing you need to do is market it, right? Because marketing actually gets your message out there. And marketing is just about repeating yourself over and over again, so that people have top of mind awareness. And this is what I just happened to be really good at, was marketing myself, which was just repeating that I love design, I love Instagram. And I showcased, as I traveled around the world, like, hey, I'm doing Instagram in Italy, I'm doing Instagram in New York, in France, and showing people that I was really just sharing my day to day and like how much fun I was having doing social media. And that was doing marketing for me. And slowly people started talking about me like, oh, there's this girl that grows Instagram accounts. And oh, look, now she's in Israel. And, and then people that needed help with Instagram started contacting me. I had no like paid media. Now I have a course published. So there's advertising for my course that I don't pay for myself. I have a sponsor paying for all my advertising. But before I got to the course level, I was just completely organic. And more organic strategy, all I did was just talk about things that I loved and I was passionate about and solving problems, Instagram problems for other people. And this brought my profile to be constantly at the top of mind when somebody was looking for a social media expert or needed social media strategy. So I want to help you now with starting with the perfect Instagram bio, because this is something, that is really difficult to do. I know I struggled a lot with my Instagram bio. So I just want to give you the rules, like suggested rules on how you can just do it. Okay. How you can do your bio the way that's been working for many of our students. The first line is all about who are you. So if you know exactly what specialty you're in, like if you're a UX or UI designer, you want to make sure that this name is actually in your Instagram name. So what I mean by Instagram name is the actual like the first name. Instead of putting your first name, you could put Sheer UX UI designer, because that's the part that actually gets searched on Instagram. So if you want to be known as a UX UI designer, you better have that on the first line in first name. In my profile, I never ever even say my name is Dot. All I say is that I'm the mother of social dragons. So if anyone's searching social, my name will come up under social and they're like, who is this dragon person? So I get a lot of hits that way because people are like, oh my God, this girl is so weird, right? And remember, your weirdness is actually your superpower. So make sure you are able to use some keywords in the who are you part, which is your name. The second part you need to know is who you actually serve. So are you a UX UI designer for Series A startups or whatever it is? The more specific you get, the better. So here you really want to shout out what your niche is. For example, I show you my example here, which is, hi, I'm Dot, mother of social dragons. I help rock stars, misfits, and rebels. I'm shouting out my niche of people. So if somebody's like, oh, I'm a rock star, I'm a misfit, I'm a rebel, or they identify with that, they're more likely to follow me. And this is like the tribe that I'm trying to build. So who do you serve? If you are trying to work with more startups, and what type of startups? Maybe you want to work with food apps. You can even, put some example clients there that you might have. I work with clients like Uber, like Airbnb, whatever niche of startup you work with, you can say it right there. And then the third thing is, how can you actually help me? Because you have less than 3 seconds to get somebody to follow you or get someone to even look down your feed. So you have to say right away, why should somebody even follow you? Like, is it just design inspiration? Are you going to give me advice on good UI or UX? Are you going to be teaching me something? What is it that you're going to be teaching me? And the fourth thing is the call to action, which people really forget. That if you're driving traffic to your Instagram bio or LinkedIn, this works for LinkedIn as well, you need to tell people what to do next. Okay, so they know who you are, you serve them, they're interested that for you to help them or at least follow you. tell them what to do. Should follow me, sign up for my newsletter, join my Facebook group. I say join the Social Dragons family or buy my course. You have to tell people what to do. Okay, people, if you don't tell them what to do, you're missing an opportunity to drive traffic or collect an email, to collect a lead, whatever the end result is that you want. It could also be, what I recommend is, send me a DM, like, let's chat. That's an excellent call to action, because as we'll learn, if you follow me and follow my work, most sales actually happen in direct messenger. So if you don't have a call to action, the call to action should be send me a DM. Let's chat. So in conclusion, personal branding, it's really going to set you apart from the competition and build art. And that art is authority, expertise, and trust with your prospective clients and employers. So if you want to actually now learn how to generate sales with the power of Instagram stories, I will be having a workshop on this tomorrow night on teachable.com. And I will post the link to the workshop, or I'll post a link to the conference in the group chat. And I'd also like to invite all of you to join me next month, October 22nd to 24th at Digital Design Days. It's going to be a 3-day conference with some epic production, creative studios, and everything you guys are gonna love. There's like Facebook, Spotify, and Chase, and all the design leaders are going to be there. And you can actually check out ddd.it to see the first speakers that are announced. I know they're announcing more. Also, every Friday I host a live chat on the Digital Design Days Instagram. So if you want to know more about what I do, feel free to follow us at Digital Design Days. Alonzo is so sweet. Thanks for the great tips. Thanks for joining, Alonzo. And that's all for me. If you ever need help with social media, you know how to contact me. I'm always available on the DM on any channel. So now I will let you guys ask questions if you have any.
Yes, we actually have a few questions. First of all, thank you, Dot. That was super, super interesting. I feel like I understand Instagram so much more now.
Great.
So
it's like to know about Instagram is just to know how to be real and human, and that's the beauty of these social media things. The more you're human, the more results you're going to see.
So let's go over a few questions.
Sure.
Okay. And by the way, if you have any more questions, feel free to post them in the chat. Lee, you're wrong. I'm working on my page, but we're not going to go into that right now. Okay, so let's start with, just gonna open the first question we got. It's from Valeria. And she asked, how can we introduce ourselves to social media properly? What can make us pop in the very first post?
So my recommendation for this question, which is a great answer, and if Valeria, if you want to do this, I will follow your lead. Right now, the hottest way to introduce yourself on social media is using Instagram Reels or TikTok. And this is basically a 15-second video clip or way to introduce yourself on Instagram Reels, but you can download this video and upload it onto Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. And the reason why this works so well is because you have less than 3 seconds to get anybody to stop the scroll. And with Instagram Reels, like this style of entertaining content, like you're always moving or you're dancing and like there's a lot of movement and rhythm, and it captures that attention. And a way that you can use this technique to introduce yourself is really, say, hey, my name is Valeria, is it? Or yeah, my name is Valeria. I'm a UX UI designer, and you can put this introduction like with a song, for example, your choice of song that's really your favorite song or your 15-second favorite clip, and do a little dance as you point to keywords. Like, I'm a UX designer, and point to UX UI designer. And what the hell does that even mean? Okay. I help people. So use the formula that I gave you, like that 3-4 step formula in your Instagram bio, like how to do your Instagram bio. First, say your name, state who you serve, state what you do, state how you help people. Use this inside your Instagram reels. So, hi, I'm Dot, mother of social media dragon. So I could have a little text pop out. And then I help rock stars, misfits, and rebels. Like, point, rock stars, one, misfits, rebels. And then those letters would point out. Actually, I should totally do this right after this. But this is a way, like, I hope that answers your question. My answer is use Instagram Reels with the formula that I gave you on how to write your Instagram bio, but do it in a Reels format with video and show some personality. That's a great way to wow anyone on social media.
So,
as a matter of fact, Sheer, can we like force everybody to do this and be like, this is what we learned at Startup Designer today? Like, and then if you like tag me, I'll reshare it on my stories, or you can reshare it on Startup Design stories as well.
I think that's awesome. Go ahead, tag Dot.
So here is your assignment, little dragons. We want all of you to create your first Instagram stories reel, and you will tag at Startup Designers, okay, and tag me at .lung. It'll be your 15-second reel, and use the formula that I gave you. Do you guys need it again? I will share the presentation, okay? And the formula is basically, who are you? Who do you serve? How can you help me? Okay, and then if there's a call to action. So use those 3 things in your Instagram reels under 15 seconds with your favorite song. And that way we can actually learn more about each other in the community as well. What hashtag should they use? Startup Designers or?
Lishai, write us in the chat. What hashtag? Startup Designer. Yeah, we're not very creative with hashtags yet.
Okay.
Cool.
Startup Design. No specific. Okay, just tag. If you want to use hashtag social dragons, I'd love for you guys to use hashtag social dragons, and everyone can see all the new dragons joining the community.
That's awesome.
All right.
I'm gonna do that after the webinar.
Oh my God, let's do it. I think it would be hilarious. I've never even think it's so great. Thanks for asking that question, Valeria.
Okay, I'm just gonna point out I'm gonna be very awkward, but let's do it. It's gonna be fun.
That's the point. The whole thing is like, everyone, let's be awkward together, because the only way we're gonna learn is if we try all of these weird things that we're uncomfortable with, and that's how you learn. So if you're uncomfortable with it, that means it's good. We're touching an uncomfortable button, which means you need to try it out and be comfortable with uncomfortability. And that's how you grow.
So let's move on to a different question. The next one is from Michal, and she asked more about your own personal story, because you told us in the beginning, it sounds amazing. And she kind of asked how, you showed us this big gap, like you started with a suitcase in Barcelona, and then we see a photo of you with Stegmeister. So
yeah. So if I had to do the whole story, it would take, 10 years to finish the whole story, but this gap was like the transformation. This gap was those years of uncomfortability, that where I didn't, know who the hell I was, and I was trying to figure it out, and I was really, to be honest, embracing who I really was, and learning to raise my hand, to speak out. And this took many years. This took my whole life. I'm still learning how to do it today. Like right now, I'm practicing how to be in front of a Zoom audience. Putting myself outside my comfort zone, that's what happened within those 8 years. But even through like school, I was doing so bad in school, but I started slowly to learn to raise my hand, to ask to go to the bathroom. I had to slowly raise my hand to, participate in class. So it was like little accomplishments, little things that led to a boom. Like I'm a dragon now, because I had to force myself to get outside my comfort zone. And being in a foreign country, not speaking the language, not knowing anybody, not having any friends, not knowing anything, this is really uncomfortable. And not having any money, like literally not having any money, because I borrowed. What I did to survive within those years was I borrowed $12,000 from American Express from my credit card to pay for like my life expenses until I freaking found a job, graphic design freelance thing. I didn't even know how to do graphic design, but I made it work. And this was like before Fiverr and like Upwork was even a thing, right? This is like, I wish there was Fiverr. And so, yeah, like there was a huge gap, because that huge gap was my self-development and my not knowing what to put on my Instagram bio. I changed my Instagram bio like 12 different times in like 1 year, because I didn't know what the hell I was. I didn't know, like I just became the mother of social dragons less than 3 years ago. Like I just started my personal branding only 3 years ago, but I had been growing social media accounts during those years. So that gap was me learning Instagram, me learning social media, me building this formula that I'm showing you today. So I hope that answers your question, but it was really personal growth. It was starting companies, closing companies, starting projects, closing companies, starting Instagram accounts. And I do have a presentation on that, but that's a whole nother, restart and refresh presentation.
Yeah, it sounds like a complete whole talk. Okay, so let's move to a more specific use case. So Roy was asking about his social brand. So basically, he's a designer, but he wants to attract entrepreneurs and business owners through his profile. So how should he, do that the best way?
So if you want to attract entrepreneurs to do design for them, the best way to do that is to think like an entrepreneur, think like a startup person. Where are they hanging out? What blogs, what Instagram accounts are they following? And I think there's an Instagram account called not Startup Entrepreneur or Entrepreneur. Like they're following all of these accounts, like with motivational quotes and figuring out how to like make a business plan. Like entrepreneurship, like not everyone goes to business school, right? So a lot of these startup entrepreneurs, even like myself, like I had no idea how to do business. And I learned, that's what I was doing in those 8 years too, is like how to like write a proposal and like how to present myself as a business owner and, close contracts. Well, who are they following? Figure out where they're hanging out online. What content are they interested in, so that like how you can get into get into their world. How can you as a designer get into the world? So you probably need to figure out what their pain points are with launching products, because the thing with entrepreneurs is they need design. Like new entrepreneurs like that are starting a new product and designer, like all you need, like, you know how they started Behance? It was just Mateus Correa and Scott Babelsky. It was just like them two, literally just them two, and they started Behance because he had an idea and he did the design. And that's how important design is for early stage entrepreneurs. So how can you really offer the support? How can you offer the guidance? How can you be there for them versus knowing where to go look for them? So go find out what the entrepreneur, what are they reading? They're probably on like Product Hunt. They're probably on like, reading all this entrepreneurial magazine, wherever. Find out, do an interview. Okay. You guys are designers. You have to do like user interviews all day long, right? So interview like your ideal client, like ask a friend, maybe their ideal client, interview them and see what Instagrams they follow, what music they listen to, what they do for fun. Find out everything about them and then see how you can give value to them through, Instagram, LinkedIn content. And it might be to teach them what good product design is and how to teach what your knowledge as a product designer, what works and what doesn't for a product. You guys are the experts. The entrepreneur, the business guys, really an expert at maybe business strategy, but you guys know actually how to design it and how to make it look so that it can scale and it can work, and all the things that you guys know because of your expertise and entrepreneurs don't know yet until they do testing with you. I don't know, does that answer your question?
I think it does, but I see Roy is typing. Okay, so I'm gonna move to the next one meanwhile. We have a question from, let me see. Oh,
Roy,
it's another
one. Mic permission.
Okay. I'm not sure I can because I disabled it, Roy, because we had bots in the last conversation. I'm sorry. I feel like permission
That's a hard no, Roy. That's a hard no. I will speak with you later. Okay, DM me.
Okay, let's move on to a few more questions before we finish. So another great question from Michal was about what social media channels should we be active in, and should we like have multiple social channels, or should we focus on one?
So it depends at what level of expertise you are at social media and how well you've like figured out the Dragons formula, because this formula works on all of them. But as like a beginner, you should definitely only focus on one before you spread to many, right? If you can't figure out one and get that to work for you, you're sure as hell it's not going to be easier to take on another social media channel, because each channel is a beast on its own. Now, having said that, if you do have like one or two channels and you're able to manage it, you should definitely be using Instagram for branding. So this is, branding meaning showing your lifestyle. You can show your design work, but LinkedIn is actually where business is happening, right? So if you want to appeal to like entrepreneurs, they're all on LinkedIn all day long. So why would you go to Instagram and put all your effort? This is what designers do wrong, is like they like spend hours making their Instagram grid look beautiful, and then what? Like nobody goes to it, or entrepreneurs aren't browsing pretty Instagram feeds. I can guarantee you that entrepreneurs are looking for business and they're scrolling LinkedIn if they're even on social media, right? Like they probably use Instagram the least. So it depends what your objective is. Is your objective branding or is it business? You use the different platforms according to what you need. And the most important thing you can do on social media is branding on all platforms, right? So this is why we went over, what your dialogue needs to be on social media, which is really solving the pain points of these entrepreneurs, of your ideal clients. And the more that you're able to, understand the pain point of your client, which I'm assuming everyone here, I guess you guys want to work with more entrepreneurs, you guys want to get on new startup teams, you need to show up on LinkedIn, and you need to provide very valuable content regarding, what's working in you. What are the do's and do nots of UX and UI? What are the what's working and what's not working? What do we need to be aware of? Like, you have so much expertise that I can't even get into, but that needs to, the more that you're able to put what knowledge you have onto your LinkedIn content, that's what's going to get you attention. Because right, the minute that an entrepreneur needs to hire a product designer, they remember your name. It's at top of mind because they're like, oh yeah, there's that person that's posting on LinkedIn about, how to do design for this type of product. So you want to be posting stuff that like you're an expert at, or what you're niche down into and what you want to be working on. So if you want to be working on like a certain type of app or a certain mission, you need to be talking about, you need to have a dialogue about that.
So we have only we have a few questions ahead of us.
Okay. Kathy said, mention some platforms apart from LinkedIn and Instagram. Okay, so that could be maybe for you guys Behance. These aren't necessarily platforms you need to keep on updating, right? Behance, you need to have your portfolio in there. Instagram is great for personal branding because it shows you who you are behind. Like on LinkedIn, you don't really show so much personal stuff, but on Instagram, you can show the day-to-day on stories. What are you doing on the day-to-day on stories? So you can open up those dialogues and conversations. On LinkedIn, you need to show what you're an expert at. You need to show your knowledge and your expertise in the field you're in. So you use all of them, but use them for different things.
That's perfect. It also connects to a question we had earlier from Puja about starting with Behance or Dribble. So I think you're saying different use cases, basically.
Yeah, so Dribble is great. I know it's really popular with illustration and UX UI, and yeah, you should be on there. But again, you should put all the best stuff that from your portfolio. You show the stuff that you want to be working on. You don't need to show stuff in your portfolio that you hated working on or like you didn't really like doing. Just show the stuff, show the dream work that you do want to be doing. Because when you get that interview, then you can show them all the practical stuff. But if you want to present on social media, you want to present your best foot forward, right? You want to put your most memorable work out there. So how often is it realistic to be posting stuff on Dribble? Is that like
really?
anyone post daily on Dribble? If you can keep up with that, that's the same thing as posting daily on Instagram. So yeah, you can choose Instagram or Dribble, but remember, when you're on Dribble, you're only networking with other designers. If you want to use it to expand your reach outside the design community, you got to be on platforms like where LinkedIn is all business people, not so many creatives. So you'll really stick out on LinkedIn, whereas on Dribble, you're going to stick out within the design community, which is fantastic if you want to be a famous designer in the design community. But if you want to be a famous designer out in the business world, you got to go on a business network.
I know we have. Okay, do you wanna take a minute to see the comment we just got from Karthik?
For me, Behance and Dribble, any user who logs in and see the UI screenshots, visual illustrations, people keep on scrolling and take a screenshot of what they want and start edit. Not much focus on who did that design. Yeah, it's like for people to steal work. Whenever people need inspirations, only log in. Yes. Yeah, like people use Pinterest and Dribble to get inspiration. By the way, like I've, interviewed a lot of designers and stuff, like a lot of amazing designers, and we should not be taking inspiration like from Instagram and taking inspiration from other people's content. Like take inspiration from like real life, from art, from nature, and the real world, and then bring it into a digital space to make your work look different. Or else now everyone's just like taking inspiration from everyone else's designs on Instagram, and that's fine, but if you want to be different, I recently did an interview with someone, and I was like, oh yeah, it's really insightful that if you want to look for inspiration, don't go to Instagram. That's like what everyone does.
So with that in mind, I think it might be a good time to go through the last question, if it's okay with you. And it's a question from Shai. So she asked, how do you keep up with your followers and make sure that they are all engaged, especially across multiple platforms if you manage a few?
How do I keep up with my followers?
And make sure that they are engaged. So not only that you have multiple followers, but also that you have, engagement within your page.
So listen, if you want, everyone always asks like, oh, how do you get more engagement? Or if you're already getting engagement, you have to give more engagement. If the more you give, the more you get. Okay, that's the G in the Dragons formula. So if you're getting engagement, you must reply. This is, and when I say must, I mean that in a way of, if you want to grow more, if you want to build more trust, if you want to really have a loyal community, like it is, somebody took like a minute out of their day to leave you a comment. You don't deserve like them commenting, them messaging you, like you should be so grateful, right? So give them the courtesy back and give them a reply. This is community management. So if you're a community manager, and you're getting engagement, give back the engagement. That's just courtesy, right? Does that answer the question?
Yeah, I see Shai is nodding. Awesome. So with that, we already went a few minutes after time, so I think it's a good time to pause. Okay, I got a message that I skipped one question. So, Dot, are you okay with answering one more question?
Absolutely.
Okay, so give me 1 second to bring it back. So it's a question from Frederica, and she said that she just finished your course on Domestika, and that it was amazing. And she wanted to know, what's your approach when you want to start talking to people? Or how do you find events to go to even when you don't know anyone?
So my approach to networking is the same as it is on social media, the same as it is in person. My approach is actually going to somebody that I'm interested in speaking with and showing sincere interest in what they have to say. So if you're on Instagram and you find somebody that you really want to build a connection with, you should do your due diligence and research like what they've been posting on their feed and seeing where there's like a commonality, like something that you have in common or common interest, and use that to send them a DM. And it might be like, hey, I saw that you posted on so-and-so. I also really like that. And ask them questions about them. When you want to build rapport and build connection with someone, it's never about you and like, oh, I'm this and I'm that, and you should get to know me. No, it's always about being interested in the other person. So that is in real life as well. And I've, when I was in Barcelona, I literally had 0 friends. And then at the end of, 7 years, I knew like every expat and everyone every designer in Barcelona. I knew them because I was genuinely just interested in getting to know new people. So I, would love for you all to go to different networkings or go to even online events and genuinely be interested in someone else. Be curious and like who they are, what they do, and then it's your job, like as a networker, to find out what things you guys have in common. So you should be asking questions until you can say, oh, me too, like I also like that band, or I've also been to that concert, I've also took that master class. That's how you build rapport, is when you have something in common with someone else. That's how relationship builds, right? You need to find as many things that's as possible to have in common with someone else. And the more things you have in common, the more rapport you're going to build, and the more memorable you will be to a new person, because they will remember, oh yeah, that's that person that also took that masterclass and that also went to that same concert that I did. And then you're memorable at that point. So always play like investigator and like be interested in other people, because it's not about you, right? If you want to like meet more people, if you want to grow your network, you have to really put yourself out there and be curious, literally be curious and ask questions to the person you want to build a connection with, and genuinely just learn about them. And then they will feel that, oh, this person's like genuinely interested in me, and we have a bunch of things in common, like, oh my God, they're so friendly. And that's like kind of how it works, right? And that's how it works online as well.
I think that's a great tip. So everyone, you're welcome to start networking within our community. We have a welcome post every week. Introduce yourself, and yeah, that's a good start, right, Dot?
Yes. Oh yeah. So you guys, assignments. Okay, everybody has to do their first IG reels, #social dragons, tag startup designers, tag me at .lung, so that we can see your 15-second reel. By the way, I don't think reels is like available in Israel. So what you're gonna have to do is download InShot. Okay. So there's this app called like InShot it's basically the same thing. You can edit a 15-second story. So you can use photos, you can actually use your own selfie video, and it's just a video editor, and all you do is line up 15 seconds worth of video, cut it up into the different pieces of what you do. You can even use pictures, you can use selfies, and export that 15 seconds and upload it onto your stories, upload it onto your feed. It's going to get such great engagement. I'm not even joking you, because people love to see your face there on social media. And I also dropped my affiliate link here for anybody that wants to check out the Teachable conference that's actually happening right now. So if you want to check that out, I'm also presenting a Instagram story sales workshop there, where it's more about the nitty gritty on like how to create the stories and what you should be doing on stories to generate these conversations, so that you can build new relationships and business.
That's awesome, Dot. So if you can also post it in our Facebook Live. So
okay, yeah, sure.
So people will be able to see it after the talk today. And yeah, I think the only thing left to say is go ahead, do your InShots or Reels. And thank you so much, Dot. It was a pleasure to host you here today.
Thank you, everyone. By the way, I'm in Tel Aviv, and I'm always looking to make new friends. So send me a DM. I'm happy to, meet you guys for a coffee after the lockdown. So, bye.
Bye.